Hey everybody, Karen from Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. I thought I'd give you a different backdrop. Big old TV, another TV right there. Anyways, I hope you're doing well. We are going to have a conversation that I find really fascinating. In fact, we're going to have a couple of these in the next week or two on dimensions. All right. So I ran a report with Mabel, so my AI, ChatGPT. And I wanted to know the difference between 3D and 5D. So that's what we're going to focus on today, the difference between 3D and 5D. And so I'm going to read a little bit of stuff to us and kind of process some things. And then I'm going to ask the lead team some questions about what we're reading. Okay, just to see, is what AI telling me, is that the difference between 3D and 5D? I just want to learn a little bit more from a spiritual perspective from the lead team about this whole topic, okay? Because if we are shifting, obviously, I have no proof that we are. They have told us we are shifting. Humanity is shifting on Earth from 3D to 5D. So I just feel like this is going to be a topic that we're going to be discussing a lot over the next couple years as we prepare for that shift. I mean, we're already shifting, apparently. I think a lot of us are feeling it in certain ways, especially with this ending of this 9 years, saying goodbye to a lot of things. You guys left so many awesome comments of what all the things you were leaving behind. So thank you for that in one of the videos we recently did on what the 9 year was and what you've decided you're leaving behind. It was really fun to read all those. So, people had different ideas of what they wanted to do and how they were processing the leaving behind. So if you didn't get a chance to read those comments, I'd encourage you to do that. I will post that video right here in case at the end of this video if you want to check it out, okay? And I want to remind you before we get started, we're having a life planning sale, and I have my QR code right there, link in the description. It's a whole bundle of different printables. If you're looking for different ways to get organized, to develop new habits, I have life planners in there to help you make decisions about what you want the next year or two to look like in your life. There's some of that too. And it's 60% off for a limited time during this restart of the new year. So check it out. All right, so let's get started. So like I said, I have a little bit of reading to do just to help us process what it is that we're talking about. And then when we get to the first set of questions with the lead team, I'll say the prayer and we'll start asking them some questions. Okay, so most people think living in 5D. Now this is coming from Mabel, okay, just so you know that. This is the paragraph she started with, and I'm okay with what she did, but we'll process it together. Most people think living in 5D means escaping reality. I'm not sure that's true, but rising above problems or becoming calm and spiritual all the time. Okay, so think to yourself, what is it that you think 5D is going to look like? I don't even know if I've spent that much time thinking about it, but those seem pretty accurate to me. I don't know if escaping reality is the right way to say that, but definitely rising above problems, feeling more calm, more spiritual most of the time. Why not? Sounds good to me. But that's not what it actually looks like in real life. The real difference between 3D and 5D living shows up in everyday moments. How you respond to disappointment, stress, conflict, money pressure, and uncertainty. This conversation is about what those two ways of living actually look like. So again, this is just a different way to view 3D to 5D. And I want your opinions about what we're talking about, just so we are actually having a conversation, okay, in the comments. So leave your thoughts about this. Okay, so number one, what people think 3D to 5D actually is. So we're going to go through these and then we're going to ask the lead team collective. All right. And so what people think it is and what it actually is. So 3D and 5D are not places. I've actually heard some other spiritual folks who channel say that that's the case. And that actually clarified a lot of things for me, that it's not necessarily like the split. In fact, I've asked the lead team with you before if that's the case. We're not like splitting. Like, it's not like, Earth is going to split apart and 3D is going to just go somewhere. 5D is going to float away, that we may all be living on Earth at the same time, but we may not even be conscious of 3D. If you move to the 5D, you may, things that happen in the 3D won't even become a part of your experience. So that's kind of my understanding. So you don't leave the world to live in 5D. You can be in the same room, same job, same relationship, and experience it completely different. That I don't know about. We'll ask about that. So 3D is reaction-based living, and 5D is response-based living. So we're either reacting or responding. What's the difference? I'm not really sure. Reacting, so like, yeah, I think I understand, like, just, like, rather than something happens, right? And you react without, okay, I get it, like without really thinking, you just react because that's the way you've always reacted. That's your history with things. My husband and I, because we've been together so long, we were 18 and 19 when we met. So I still notice some things we still respond because of our history together versus whether that's actually true or not now. So it's reaction-based versus response-based. So 3D would ask, someone in the 3D would ask, why is this happening to me? Versus 5D would ask, what is this showing me? So I love that. I think that's a really cool distinction. So let's start with our first set of questions about this for the lead team. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team and my spirit team. I haven't talked to them today. Thanks everybody for your love and kindness and support of our community. Really appreciate it. So I've got some questions here about we're just processing the difference between what 3D living and 5D living is going to look like, or can look like right now even. Is there anything that's not helpful for us to know at this point about 3D and 5D? No? Okay. All right. So let's take I've been getting, my ear's been crackling, and my doctor said if I went to an ear doctor, he'd just tell me to blow out my nose. Apparently I've got some water leakage in here or something. So I felt it crackling all of a sudden. All right. So lead team, let's just verify what's true and what's not true of this report that Mabel ran for me, okay? Is 3D and 5D, now and in the future, are they separate places? No. Okay, so that's true for right now in our reality in 2025, going into 2026, yes. And it will be true in 2050. Are we going to be in different places? No. Okay. Is it true that we don't leave the world to live in 5D? So we won't leave Earth to live in 5D. That is true. Okay. Do those who want to live in 3D have to leave the world? Okay, that's interesting. This is going to be interesting. No, they do not. Okay, so we can be, is it true that we can be in the same room, same jobs, same relationships, and experience 3D and 5D completely different? Yes. Although I find that challenging because when I was in the same job with people, I was really kind of trying to live in the 3D, but sometimes, depending on what people wanted to talk about all the time, or complain or whatever, it was really hard to stay in the 3D with those, or in the 5D with the 3D people around. So are we always going to have that challenge? No. Okay. So it'll be, is it likely in the future that we won't be in the same room, same job, same relationships with people? Like if we're in a job and we're living in the 5D, is everyone in that job going to be in the 5D? Yes. What about partners and relationships? Is it more likely we are going to be in 5D together or not? Yes, or not together. Yes. Okay. And that's why I think we're hearing, so I don't think I said yes to the previous question. So sorry for those who aren't watching. I got to remember to say it out loud. I think that can be challenging for people who are in relationships with others and worried that they're not going to shift to the 5D. Is that true? Yes. Okay. Will those relationships just naturally separate over time? Yes. Okay. So I don't know. You'll have to let me know how you guys feel about that. So let's see. Is it accurate to say that someone in the 3D would ask, why is this happening to me? Yes. And someone in the 5D might ask, what is this showing me? Yes. Okay. Is it possible for someone to change their experience without changing their external situation? Yes. I feel like we had that question in a different video. It's either that or I'm having deja vu. I don't know. Or I read this. I don't know. Is it possible for someone to change their experience? Right. Of course it is. Without changing their external situation, because it is how you process. It's how you see things. It's how you decide to feel about something. Yes. Okay. Are many people treating 5D like a place they must reach instead of a choice they can practice now? No. Okay, cool. So is it true though that a 5D a place we need to reach? No. So it is a choice that we can start practicing now, the 5D. Yes. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the reaction versus the response. So we talked about the 3D, the first move is reaction, where in the 5D, this is how AI described it. In the 5D, the first move is pause. Okay, so that makes more sense to me, reaction versus response. So you can respond to things, but you're more likely to pause first. And these are things we can start practicing, right? 3D shows up as immediate emotion, blame, defense, and feeling powerless. 5D shows up as curiosity, less judgment, and remembering there is still choice, even in discomfort. Same situation, different inner posture. All right. This is actually, I think, really helpful for me to go through these because these are things that we can continue to strengthen for ourselves right now, right? Even if we're waiting, because all that is a raise in vibration anyway. So we're just all working on raising our vibration as we're taking care of ourselves. All right, so let's ask some just pretty basic questions about this. Just make sure we're on the same page. Would pausing before reacting change outcomes for many people who are listening? Yes. And I would say like the most person I react to is my husband. It's just easier to react. And again, we have a lot of history. So I am learning to pause more than just make these assumptions. So yes. Am I doing an okay job? Yes. All right. I know I still have work to do. Is nervous system stress driving more decisions than values right now. Oh, interesting. Yes. So nervous system stress. This is why we need to, they've been telling us for months and months, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. So if you want to continue to pay attention to what's going on in the external world from your world, like the world you're living in, if you want to continue paying attention to the external that's outside of your life, that's great. Just watch how it's affecting your nervous system. Okay. If you want to continue to work on this 3D to 5D. And what I mean is politics, basically, right? Because that's like external to your life if you're not directly in there. And it can be pretty stressful, right? So, and I'm grateful for people who still want to hang out if they're, I'm still taking action on things. I can still take action without being in the day-to-day. But I understand there's people in the community who are still interested in that. It's part of their calling. And so just continue to take care of yourself the best you can and watch your nervous system, right? Okay, so we have in relationships, the 3D, the 5D, what the difference might look like. Expectation versus presence. So that's kind of interesting to think about, expectation versus presence. In 3D, relationships often include you should and you owe. You owe me, you should do this. Validation from others becomes tied to self-worth in the 3D. Disappointment comes from unmet expectations. All right. In 5D, the focus shifts to presence. Expectations loosen. Self-worth is not outsourced, meaning your self-worth, you don't need anybody out here to give you self-worth. Your boundaries remain without needing to control. I am coming so far in that area. Instead of they let me down, the question becomes, what am I feeling right now? And can I stay with it? That's interesting. So they let me down, or you made me do this. I find that really interesting. You made me spill my coffee, or you made me, rather than like looking at the situation and saying like, what legit happened here. Spill your coffee was not a good example, but the only reason I said that is I'm watching the morning show today, and the mother said to her son, who, they're like, she's probably in her 70s and he's in his 50s or 60s and 80s. And she just said, look what you made me do. And she spilled her coffee. And he didn't make her do it, but she blamed him because of a mistake, because she got rattled, So I'm like, why did I use that example? There was something else I was going to say about this. Let me pause for a minute so I can think about it. So a lot of us here probably know Mel Robbins, and if she's got a YouTube channel, and she wrote a book recently that I just saw at Barnes. There used to be a Borders. Oh, I love Borders. Borders is no longer with us, but Barnes and Noble, I saw it the other day, and it was Let Them. Now, I haven't read the book, but I get the concept. I've heard her talk about it, and I just love that so much. Let them. Let them. If your children, your grandchildren, if they come for you for guidance, or, you see there's something you can do to help them not, fall off a cliff. But I love the idea of let them. And so I've been using that a lot with my husband. Just let him do what he wants to do. You know what I mean? I think that, the partnership relationship is probably the strongest when it comes to this, especially, if you met really young, and you had to grow up together. So let them do it. Let them be who they need to be. Right. So I love that concept. Has anyone read the book? Was it good? Let us know. Okay. I'll link the book so you know who I'm talking about, what I'm talking about. So, Okay, so lead team, let's see. Did we just describe what a 3D relationship would look like? The shoulds, the you owe me, we need other people to validate our self-worth, disappointment when things aren't, well, I'm just so disappointed in you. I hate that word. I've hated that word for a long time. I just think it's so rude when people use that. You just disappoint me. I just find that's just my opinion. It's just my feeling. I've never said that to anybody. I cannot remember ever saying that to anybody. And then, so yes, they're saying yes. So 5D focus, is that true? Where expectations loosen, we fall more into the let them have their experiences. Self-worth, they're saying yes, yes, yes. So self-worth is not outsourced. That's all. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Well, okay. So these are questions from Mabel. So I'm just going to ask them and see how they land. Are many listeners, so people in the community, placing emotional needs on others that belong with themselves? Oh, look at us, you guys. No, good job. Would releasing one key expectation in a relationship improve some relationships right now? Yes. So maybe that's just something to think about. Is there a relationship that you're in that you can release one key expectation and maybe just do the let them? Let them. It's obviously nothing that's going to harm you, right? Or harm them. Are some people avoiding clear boundaries because they fear losing approval? Yes. Okay. So are some people, let's just ask in our community, are some people in our community avoiding clear boundaries because they fear losing approval, or maybe even just losing a relationship? Okay, yes. Okay, so the first one, we're doing pretty good as a community. Letting go of, I think it was, what was it? We're not placing emotional needs on others that don't belong to them. Good job. But it looks like we need to just, continue working on our clear boundaries as individuals in this community. But you know who you are, right? Yes. And I think there's just, for me, it's like different parts of my life, Okay, being alone, rejection, and discomfort. In the 3D, rejection feels personal. Being alone feels like failure. Discomfort feels like proof something is wrong. In the 5D, rejection becomes information. Interesting. That's a very interesting way to look at it. Being alone becomes self-connection. I love it so much. I don't have any plans for Christmas, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm totally fine not having plans for Christmas. But I know like some people would look at that and be like, that's so sad. I'm like, no, it's not sad at all. It's wonderful. Discomfort in the 5D, discomfort becomes feedback, not punishment. This is not about avoiding feelings in the 5D. It's about feeling them without building a story that includes suffering. Okay, very helpful. Very helpful. So lead team, is that an accurate description of the 3D and the 5D about being alone, rejection, and discomfort? Yes. Okay. Is this helpful for you? Is it giving you some new ideas in terms of how we can start shifting now from to the 3D to the 5D? All of those things just raise your vibration, don't they? Okay, again, some basic questions just to make sure we're on point. Is discomfort often pointing to something important rather than something wrong? I like that reframing. Yes. Are many listeners turning temporary moments into long-term stories about their worth? Okay, you guys, yes, we are. Okay, so something to pay attention to, right? Would staying present with uncomfortable feelings reduce suffering over time. Yes. So we're just trying to stay a little more present. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to I do this in the spirit circle quite often now, but I'm going to put this transcript in the description. So you could grab some of these ideas if you want to. Okay, I probably should have told you that in the beginning. But I didn't know I was going to do it. All right, so then if you don't have to take notes or whatever. Okay, 3D to 5D, work in daily life. 3D looks like victim mode versus learning mode in the 5D. So 3D work can feel trapping, unfair, or exhausting. People feel stuck and powerless. In the 5D, work becomes information. Situations are seen as temporary. Learning replaces resentment. 5D does not mean staying stuck. It means moving forward without desperation. One step can shift direction. Okay, interesting. Are current work challenges teaching skills or boundaries that haven't been learned yet? Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes. Yes. So if people are running into their work challenges, is that it is best for us to say, what am I meant to learn here? Versus, well, they're just being an ass. Right? Yes. Okay. Is it safe to say that we wouldn't be running into those work challenges if it was something we needed to learn? If it wasn't something we needed to learn? Yes. Okay. So what do I need to learn here, right? Are some listeners staying stuck more from feeling helpless than from lack of options? No. Okay. Would consistent small steps change paths more than waiting for a major breakthrough? Obviously, that's kind of common. Yes. In fact, one of my printables is small step. It's a lot of what I have done in those printables, life planning printables, is about small steps. Okay, money and security. So in the 3D, it feels like panic. In the 5D, you feel stability. So that's amazing. In 3D, money stress creates fear and mental spirals. The body stays tense and reactive when it comes to money. In 5D, responsibility remains, but panic decreases. Focus narrows to what can be done today. Gratitude is used without denying reality. And okay, so that's interesting. Gratitude is used without denying reality. So it's like you're accepting where you are today, but finding what it is that you can be grateful for. One calm action can replace many anxious thoughts. Okay. All right. So is fear currently making money is fear currently making money decisions harder for many in the community? Okay, so yes. Okay, so we need to pay attention to that. That would be more of a 3D response, right? And then like attracts like. So we want to be careful about that. It's just some things to be thinking about going into the new year, I think. Yes, they're saying yes. Would focusing on the next step reduce overwhelm around finances? Yes. Okay, so if you are feeling overwhelmed about your finances, what is the next first step to take? What is the next first step to take? I just got done reading this book. It's called, here, let me just go grab it. I just got done reading it. It's called The Year of Less. I'll put it in the description below. It's really good. It's a very easy read. I found her, enjoyable to read. It's about her. It's a story basically about her life. But she did this 1 year where she said she wasn't going to buy anything. She only bought toiletries, food, like the necessities. And in fact, she ended up doing it. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you in case you're going to read it. But I mean, it's not, anyways. It was good. And in fact, it inspired me. I am doing the same thing. Like it really helped me, and I don't really need to. I just don't want to keep spending my time buying things because I don't need anything. I just keep buying stuff. I was just buying and buying and buying. Even not even like expensive things, but just, go into thrift stores. And then it's just more stuff that you have to keep organizing and dusting and, cycling around and getting rid of, you bring something into the house, you got to take something out. It's just this whole thing, right? So rather than, I just want to spend the next year appreciating what I have versus going out and buying new things. I just don't know. I don't need anything new. And so it was, yeah. So I'm at a different place in terms of like, but she actually, I mean, part of this is that she saves so much money. And what she did is she took the money that she saved and put it in a travel account for herself, because then she started realizing she'd rather spend her money doing traveling rather than spending it on things that she didn't even know. Like after she bought something, it'd end up in a closet, right? And then she never even used it. I'm doing the same thing. But she couldn't afford to do that. So, it's just really, it's an inspiring story. So if anyone wants to read that. Okay. Focusing on the next step. So yeah, so she gives you some ideas about next steps too. Are some people avoiding practical planning because panic feels more familiar than calm action? Okay, that's really interesting. Yes. So part of the 3D, the 5D is really taking a look and just paying more attention to how you're feeling about things and spending time in that feeling. That's your shadow work, right? Especially the negative feelings. So spending some time in that shadow to understand, where did that come from? Why do I keep reacting this way? And the more you work on that shadow work, then what it sounds to me is that we can, you're going to be raising your vibration. Is that true? You'll rate the more shadow work we do. Yes, really wide swing. Okay, that's good confirmation for me. And again, like instead of this author too, she buys a lot of books. I've been buying a lot of books, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy another book except for the Spirit Circle, I will. But until I get through the ones I have, which is why I ended up reading that one, because it was on my bookshelf. Okay, last but not least, the world around us in the 3D will look like chaos. Does that sound familiar? Versus centeredness. All right, in the 3D, it's easy to absorb stress from others. Yes, it is. So again, if you're paying attention to things that are external from you, from your life, watch how it's making you feel. If it's making you feel less than enjoyable, or less than good, then your vibration is lower because of that, because it feels more chaotic out external to what's happening in your own space, right? Constant noise pulls attention outward. So you might want to think, I'm not saying everybody, but some of us might want to say to ourselves, why do I have a need to pay attention to everything outside of my life? Why is that better? Am I avoiding things? Doesn't mean you are, but maybe some of us are, right? I know I was. What are we avoiding? Okay, so it's a good question. In 5D, awareness remains without absorption. So I could sometimes, in the last year when we were talking about politics and asking the SGs all the political questions, when I was in those sessions with the SGs, the lead team, using the dowsing rods, asking the questions, I could be in those sessions and not absorb. But in order for me to pay attention to what we wanted to ask questions about, I couldn't help but absorb when I was paying attention to the chaos on the outside. It was very hard for me not to. As an empath and a feeler, very hard for me not to. And so my vibration has increased so much since I stopped paying attention to the day-to-day. I do listen to a few people still. I listen to Venia still. She's like one of my favorites. I listen to Jennifer Lisa Vest, one of my favorites, because they can talk about what's going on in the external world without me absorbing it. They just are very factual. But there are certain people, when I listen to them, I can't not absorb it. So anyway, so find your people if you're still going to pay attention to that stuff. In 5D, I'll list who I am listening to below. And not only that, but both Venia and Jennifer Lisa Vest, because they're both mediums also, they can clarify, right, what's going on in the 3D, and they can give you the spiritual spin on it. So I will link both of their channels below in case you're wondering who they are. I love sharing other people that I listen to. So let's see. So stability comes from within the moment. Okay, in the 5D, well, did I skip some? In 5D, awareness remains without absorption. We talked about that. Attention is chosen more carefully. So you're choosing who you're paying attention to. Like Jennifer, Venia may not work for you, but find who you're paying attention to. And if whoever you pay attention to lowers your vibration, doesn't mean they're bad. It just doesn't mean it's good for you, right? So, and that goes the same with me. If I'm talking about something that's lowering your vibration, then you need to make that decision here too. It's the same thing. Doesn't mean I'm bad. It just means that that's not the right messaging for you. Attention is chosen more carefully. Stability comes from within the moment. Stability comes from within the moment, not like projecting, I think, out into the future. 5D is not ignoring reality. I think that's a good distinction. It is staying centered while living in it. Okay. All right. Okay. So, lead team, are many in the community carrying stress that does not belong to them? Yes. And boy, oh boy, there's a really wide swing on this one, you guys. So pay attention to that. So you're living in the 3D, right? When you're carrying stress that does not belong to you. It is not your experience. You're experiencing other people's things, right? So very interesting. Would reduce, I do too. We're all doing it, but that's why we're having this conversation, just to get us to think about things a little differently. Would reducing exposure to chaos, this is going to be a no-brainer, improve daily well-being for most people? Yes. Okay. Is attention being pulled away from what actually matters in real life? Okay. Yes. Okay. When we're looking at the chaos on the outside. Okay, so how to practice this daily. Simple questions help bring awareness back. Am I reacting or responding? What is this moment asking of me? Like, how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling triggered. Why? Why am I feeling triggered? Go a little deeper, grab a journal, pull out your shadow workbook, whatever you're doing, and process that a little bit. Can I stay present without needing to fix things? Can I stay present without needing to fix? Movement between 3D and 5D is normal, and I think we kind of go back and forth. I think I've been doing it for years, but I'm learning now how to stay more in the 5D. This is practice, not perfection. Awareness alone creates change, okay, which is why we're having this conversation. All right, you guys. Well, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.